Shalom, call Yahbashim Yahushua Bashim Rakakadash Barakadam. Double honor to the elder apostles, a great millstone. Salutations to you brothers on the highways and byways, teaching the truth and sincerity. It's the brother Yahudan. It's a lesson basically on the spirit and power of Yahbashim Yahushua and the terrifying factor that if the Most High isn't dealing with you, if he doesn't allow you to see this truth, then he will blind you to the truth. All right, so I'll grab 2 Corinthians chapter 4, read that in its entirety, and see if the Spirit will grab a few more precepts. This verse 1. Therefore, seeing we have this ministry as we have received mercy, we faint not. So the Most High has allowed us, starting with the other apostles of Great Millstone down, to understand this knowledge as who we are as Israelites. That America is going to be destroyed, that the great judgment is coming to the world, and in the other biblical prophecies of this time. All right, but have renounced the hidden things of dishonesty, not walking in craftiness, nor handling the word of God deceitfully, but by manifestation of the truth, commending ourselves to every man's conscience in the sight of God. And a couple nights before this, when I was reading this, I had stumbled across it and decided I wanted to do a video on it through the Spirit. And I had looked into the interlinear of the word craftiness, and it goes back to basically like sophistry, all right, or deceit, or carnal or superficial deceit. And that's exactly what Esau Edom is, all right, and how he creates his system and his world. It's off of a superficial carnal deceit. Like Christians, so-called Christians, will tell you, "Oh, don't curse," and they go off saying that that's rude speech. But then they'll be like, "Oh, well, don't curse and use rude speech," even though the scriptures allow for that rude speech. But then they tell you that, "Oh, we can live in America with a bunch of homosexuals." So the hypocrisy of the flesh, all the way in the sense of them being superficially deceitful, man. All right, and that's what craftiness goes back to, in a sense. All right, we starting with the other apostles on down, we don't have that superficial deceit, man. We're not going to tell you what you want to hear, or what would be a sweet thing to say unto you, or a smooth thing to say unto you. It's just the raw and uncut truth. All right, how Yahushua would have it. All right. But by manifestation of truth, commending ourselves to every man's conscience in the sight of God. And that manifestation in the Spirit, it says in the scriptures, I believe it's in 1 Corinthians, how the Spirit beareth witness, man. How spiritual power at the end of 1 Corinthians, talking about spiritual power, and how we wouldn't basically prove who we were by the eloquence of our speech, but more so of the Spirit bearing witness to situations and events happening around us as we would speak of the truth of Yahushua HaMashiach. All right, and these are the minor miracles that play out every day around us brothers, starting with the other apostles down. The very fact that we were woken up out of our spiritual slumber, and allowed to understand this understanding is a minor miracle, and we should be grateful for that. Brothers can attest and have, I'm sure, many of their own circumstances where the same things have occurred in the Spirit, through the Spirit and power of Yahushua Yahushai. All right, but if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost. Right, so that's a terrifying thing, man. Elder Gabar had just made a sit down about the Most High being a director, the ultimate director, and this is going to kind of land back off of that, in a sense. If it's hid to them that are lost. So the Most High is only allowing the Spirit to work with those that He allows it to work with, to understand this truth, and understand who the Israelites are, being Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans, and then those of the bloodline, which is more importantly of an Israelite bloodline, that are looking like the other nations, such as myself. All right. But if the gospel's hid to you, if you're an Israelite, then the Most High just doesn't want you to see it. And he's giving you over to a life of condemnation and death. Either way, we all have an end of the same, except for the elect. The elect will be saved out of this destruction that's coming to America, and the 1/3 will be saved out of this destruction and calamity. But for the rest of the world, death and destruction, condemnation. All right. In whom the God of this world hath blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Hamashiach, who is the image of God, should shine unto them. Right. So I mean that says everything you would need to know. Blinded them. There's a veil over their eyes. They can't see this understanding. They can't see that the Lord's name is what it is, Yahweh Shai. They can't see that the real Israelites are Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And then they can't see past the color aspect of it and see that it's about a bloodline. It's about a genealogy, a patriarchy. And you have instances of situations like me who don't superficially look, all right, like those aforementioned national or ethnicities in America, but it do indeed have patriarchal and blood lineage back to Israel, or not back to Israel as an Israelite, because it's a people before it's a place. All right, got a little bit of hair in my mouth, so like. For we preach not ourselves, but Hamashiach Yahushua the Lord, and ourselves your servants for Yahushua's sake. And that's what we are as a brotherhood, man. If you're an Israelite, we're a brotherhood, and we are here to serve one another. Like Hamashiach washed the 12 apostles' feet, and he said, do this unto all your brethren, even the greatest to the least and least to the greatest. That's how we should be, man. We are servants to one another, servants to this brotherhood, servants as a family, man. All right. And also mainly we preach not of ourselves, but of Hamashiach. So a lot of heathens and a lot of devils will turn it back and be like, y'all are saying you're this or you're that, when in reality it's the scriptures that are testifying to our existence, testifying to who we are. And like my elders have taught me, now we've proven who the Edomites are and who the Israelites are. And now these Edomites have to prove that it's not how we have said it to be. And again, it's not of ourselves. It's through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. So it's through Yahushai. They have to prove that Yahushai isn't who he is. And they can't do that because he is who he is. Yahweh is who he is. And Yahushai is who he saves. All right. For God, who commanded the light to shine out of darkness, has shined in our hearts to give the light of the knowledge of the glory of God in the face of Yahushua HaMashiach. And that's where we all were, man. We were all in a state of darkness. You know, I'll speak for myself in the world, you know, not accepted by either of my ethnic so-called backgrounds in America. So being a kind of a loner and, you know, not really having a place to fit, and so on and so forth. But in complete darkness, you know, I played basketball in high school. You know, I always thought I wanted to go play in college, and of course in the Gladiator Coliseums in the NBA. Never, of course, would never happen because of the curses. So, but at the end of the day, you know, we were in complete darkness is what I was speaking on. Then I started running around in the streets doing dumb shit, thinking that, you know, all the shit that has to offer is edifying. It's not. It doesn't. And then for the light to have shined in our heart, basically to this knowledge and understanding through whoever your spiritual forefather is, to shine it onto you, the power and glory of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, and this understanding. And then you had your lamp lit, so to speak. Your lamp lit, now you can navigate the world. Now you can see the world for what it is. You can see the world or the people in it for who they are and what they are, including yourself. All right. But we have this treasure in earthen vessels, that the excellency of the power may be of God and not of us. And that's right. We are slaves to Hamashiach in a sense. All right. we've been given this truth, and we have been purchased out of this world to serve this purpose, to be banners, to be watchmen, to be examples, all right, for whatever purpose that might be, all right, for the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. And we're in a corruptible vessel, in this corrupted vessel that we're in, being in this whole lifetime of sin that we had before this knowledge and understanding, and then the lifetimes of sin we had before this life that we've lived. So extremely corrupted, and evil and wicked, but then given the ultimate light and life through the name and through the understanding and through the spirit. All right. So through Yahweh Shai, through the spirit, the Holy Ghost, we have been given this understanding and an attempt and a hope to salvation, hope deferred to salvation. All right. We are troubled on every side, yet not distressed. We are perplexed, but not in despair. So we're troubled on every side by our enemies, our adversaries. In the spirit, as Ephesians, the 8th chapter, I believe, says, we are at war every day against flesh and blood and spirits and principalities. All right. And that's exactly the truth, man. We fight demons and devils every day in this truth to maintain our faith and our understanding. And then we fight flesh every day when the spirits and devils and demons manifest themselves in people's flesh around us. And even shaking those evil spirits off of us when they try to cling on to us and dissuade us from following our true power, which is Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. And that in itself is a war every day that we face as Israelites to maintain the truth and glory and power and who the world calls God and who the world calls Jesus Christ, which is Yahweh being God, and Yahweh Shai Hamashiach, who is Jesus Christ, so called. All right. Persecuted. And that's exactly what we get persecuted every day. Brothers get persecuted at their jobs. I know I do. Brothers get persecuted by their family. Brothers get persecuted just in a line at a store on the weekend, on your days off, just trying to get something. You standing in line for something, and some devil does some evil ass shit and cuts you, or they hit their number first, or some shit. You at the DMV, you know what I'm saying? So, and that's just persecution, man. But it's a righteous and a glorious thing to suffer and have patience in the spirit for Yahweh Shai, because in turn Yahweh Shai suffered immensely, greater than we ever would or have yet to see in the full extent, and also gave his life for the 1/3. And those of us that have this understanding, starting with the other apostles down to the last brother, which would be myself, basically have that hope and opportunity and chance to do the same for Yahweh Shai, which is give our life unto this truth. In the life that we live now, or as it is written, he that loseth his life shall gain it, and all the way to the death of the flesh. And for us to die the death, some of us will be beheaded, some of us will be murdered in the flesh for the name and testimony of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. And I myself, of course, hope and pray that I'm one of those brothers that has an opportunity to give his life for Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. And I pray the Lord keeps that spirit on me and never takes that spirit away from me, because that's what this is all about, man. We're fighting for our king. We're fighting for our power, Yahweh Shai. All right, and we're fighting for our nation, all right, which is in a tragic state of self-destruction right now. All right. Always bearing about in the body the dying of the Lord Yahweh Shai, that the life also of Yahweh Shai might be made manifest in our body. And I did my best to break that down in what I had just mentioned before through the spirit. I knew it was coming because I had already read this chapter. And again, that's the spirit bearing witness. It has nothing to do with me. It has nothing to do with my flesh, and I ain't shit. And, starting, with the other apostles on down, we will all admit that we are just men advocating through the flesh, the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, that it has nothing to do with our own pride and glory. All right. And then, of course, you devils and demons will try and twist that up however, you will. But I'm trying to eliminate that entirely and hopefully shine edification through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai on those that may stumble across this video and spend the time to understand what I'm trying to say in this, or break down in this chapter here, 2 Corinthians chapter 4. I'm at the 15-minute mark, so I'm going to stop it there. And hopefully through the spirit and power, I'll come back and finish this off next time. Hopefully this is edifying. Shalom.